Setting up a property business correctly is absolutely key. This is how you scale. Do you like the idea of doing less and earning more and never having to worry about money ever again? Well, if that's you, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to share with you the process of setting up a correct property business. My name's Liam Ryan. I'm an entrepreneur, business owner, property investor. I love property. I love business. If I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for tuning in. So make sure you smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, leave me your question or comment below. So let's get straight into it. How to set up a property business correctly to earn more, do less, and live the life that you truly deserve and desire. Setting up your business. Now, you've got to start with the end in mind. Now, look, you might not be a professional property investor for the rest of your life, but you've got to go into this with the mindset that this is going to become something very special. It's going to become something that you can be proud of. It's going to become something that you can really scale and grow and perhaps leave a really strong legacy, for your children, for your loved ones. So always start with the end in mind and think, you know what? I'm in this for a lifetime. What will probably happen is you'll end up doing property for a long, long time, but you'll end up doing something else. Like me, I don't spend that much time in my property business anymore. Maybe 5 to 10 hours a week working alongside Jay, getting on some of our developments, raising the cash. What I love doing is, the speaking, the training, doing my podcast, writing books, creating content, getting out there, mentoring people, heading up our Assets for Life Academy. But start with the end in mind. That's really important. So think big. You've also got to be laying the correct foundation. So laying the correct foundations. I'm going to go through all the foundations with you, making sure you've got the right USPs, make sure you're set up the most tax efficient way possible, make sure you understand what you stand for, what you stand against, make sure that you've got the right company, you've registered the company correctly. It's also important to have a business plan. Did you know in Japan that they do 25 and 50-year business plans? I like to have a really good plan of attack of where I want to be every year. Me and my business partner, Jay, we also do what's called a vivid vision, which is like a 3-year vivid vision. So we have a good understanding of where we're going to be in 3 months' time. Not 3 months, sorry, 3 years' time. And then we break that down backwards. So you've been given a business plan. It's in the toolkit. Go and use that business plan. The good thing about a business plan is it can change at any given time. But it's really important to have a business plan that you can refer to so you know where you are now and more importantly where you're going to be going. So go and use that toolkit. You've also got to position yourself correctly in the marketplace. You don't want to be all things for all people. Me and my business partner Jay, we did that in the beginning. I wanted to do serviced accommodation, deal packaging, land development, commercial conversions, raise joint venture finance, do a couple of lease options. And we actually confused our audience because we were trying to do too much too quick. You will get to a stage where you are building multiple streams of income and perhaps you have a group of companies or your company has multiple services, but you've got to do it at the right time. So you've got to position yourself. Are you going to be an investment house? Are you going to focus on raising joint venture finance? Is your main strategy going to be land development or commercial conversions? Or are you going to go out there as a relocations company and try and work with existing landlords? You will discover what you want to do through this training, so you don't need to make that decision now. But when you make the decision, you want to be very clear and say, this is what I'm going to be doing. And I want you to really start working on your business rather than in your business, okay? A lot of business owners end up spinning all the plates, and if you're not careful, you can have a job now which is doing your head in, and maybe you're working far too hard for not enough money, and this is why you want to come across to entrepreneurship, come across to property, get some assets to give you that freedom. But if you're not careful, I see this all the time, you can be a business owner doing more hours than you were in your job, spending less time with your family, and now you've got the responsibility of making all the decisions. You haven't got someone telling you where you've got to be at a certain time and get up at a certain time and eat at a certain time and break at a certain time. So I want you to run this with systems and processes, build a power team. I'm going to teach you how to do this through this training, because when you can work on your business rather than in your business, this is how you don't just become a business owner, you become a business investor, And I want you to start practicing being seen and being heard, okay? Being seen and being heard. Never be afraid to tell everyone you meet that you are a professional property investor, okay? Very important. And you've got social media today. You can get your message out there to the masses very quickly, very easily, very cheaply. And through this training, I will be doing a bonus session for you on social media. So this is a checklist that I wish I had been told 20 odd years ago when I was getting into business. I'm 38 now. I got into business when I was 8 years of age. I had my first business in the playground. I was selling sweets and toys and He-Man figures. When I went into secondary school, I was that guy at school that could get you anything you wanted. I started to work on market stalls. So look, I've been in business for many, many, many years. And what I'm going to share with you now is a checklist of things that you need to be aware of. Number one, what is your company name? Number two, make sure you can go and get the domain name. And I would always recommend get .co.uk and .com, and you can use something like GoDaddy. Number three, you're going to want to register your company, and typically it's going to be a limited company, an LTD. You've got to start thinking about your branding. It's really important. This is going to be like your little baby. This is not a hobby, guys, right? This is a proper business with proper people, with proper products. So you've got to set yourself up. Now, back in the day when me and Jay started, we positioned ourselves as an investment house. We said, right, we want to be a boutique investment house. I didn't have any money to buy property. So I was like, man, I've got to go and raise money. How can we position ourselves as like this elegant, 5-star, sophisticated investment company? So we initially went with black and gold. They were our initial black, gold and white. And what's happened over the last 5 years is that we have transformed, right? We've transformed, and now we go with this nice blue and this nice yellow, and it's a bit more in line with our personalities. And we're not just an investment house now, we're a wealth training company, and we've got multiple different products that we offer out to the marketplace. So, the branding may change over time, but what colors resonate with you, your personality and your message? Think about your logo. We've already spoken module 1 about vision, values, mission, legacy. You're going to want to get your website up and running, bookkeeping, accountant, business cards, brochures, social media platforms set up, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Social media is so powerful. And you're never too old to start on social media. I'm seeing people in the marketplace. Grant Cardone, he's in his 60s. He started on social media 5 years ago. He's got millions and millions and millions of followers. 5 years ago, I freaking hated Facebook, like literally hated the thing. And I've now got hundreds of thousands of followers here in the UK and other parts of the world. You can get your message out there really cheaply, really quickly for not a lot of money. So it is important that you are set up on these social media channels. You're not going to necessarily use them all at once, but what's your preferred channel? Maybe it's Facebook, maybe it's you're more of a YouTuber, maybe you're a LinkedIn expert, maybe you prefer Instagram. So you're gonna wanna start with one or two, and then you can repurpose your content and your message across multiple platforms. And when we do the social media bonus session, I will really show you how to use social media in your business to get more followers, find deals, find money, and ultimately make more money. Have a think about, where are you gonna work? Where's gonna be your base? Now, I like working from home, but I couldn't work from home full time. I like to have a base. So, we've got a number of offices at Assets for Life, but when we started, I had no money for an office. So me and Jay, we hijacked Pontlins Park Hotel. It used to cost us a cup of coffee or a Diet Coke a day, and we'd pitch up there. Very nice setting. It's not far from where I live, literally 5 minutes in the car. We used to hold our power team meetings there. When we started to grow a team, we'd have our team members come in there. We have our academy graduates come and meet us when we started to train people. We met investors there. We had networking events there. And it was a great way to start the business. When me and Jay started Assets for Life, we invested £25,000 into training and mentoring. And I was able to do that on 2 interest-only credit cards. And then we found £1,500 each, and we loaned that to Assets for Life as our initial startup capital. And hey, now we're turning over, millions and millions of pounds. We just in the training business alone, we turned over £3 million last year. We've also got all of our developments. We've been involved with over £18 million worth of property deals. I know what works, I know what doesn't work, and this is why you are watching this video now. It's because we've got a connection. I want to be helping you literally on your journey, but you've got to do the work. And this is why people, once they do our training, they say, hey Liam, how can you personally mentor me? Because I don't know about you, I need mentoring. There's one thing getting training, but there's another thing actually getting mentoring and hand-holding and accountability. And that's why me and Jay, we invest 50, 60, 70,000 pounds a year in ongoing training, mentoring, academies, and it's highly, highly, highly recommended. But have a think, where are you going to work from? Hey, even if it's the local Starbucks or Costa Coffee, and if you are starting this part-time, just 1 or 2 hours a day, 5 or 6 hours a week, you can literally get going. The power of compound, guys, yeah? The power of compound. Consistent action on a daily basis will get you the results. Think about bank accounts, payroll, contracts, legal team, processes, procedures, and checklists. You want your company to be like a McDonald's. You want to be able to roll your business out anywhere in the world at any given time, so you can start making processes, procedures, and checklists. Also have a little think about a business partner. You don't need a business partner, but hey, it always helps. Make sure your business partner, I would say, is not your best mate. They're not normally the best business partners. What you're better off doing is finding someone that's got exactly the opposite skill sets. You see Jay here, we are literally like chalk and cheese. Chalk and cheese. He does everything that I am not good at, and he does all the stuff that I don't enjoy. You're going to want to build a power team. We're going to talk about that shortly. Think about emails, data automation. You can get things like MailChimp and Aweber, where you can automate emails out to your potential investors and business partners. How are you going to take payments? And again, I'll talk you through all of this. Equipment and stationery is really, really, really important. So equipment and stationery. So let's now look at standard industrial classification. This is what we call SIC codes. Every company in the UK has a SIC code, and I'm going to talk you through the property SIC codes now, so you can decide which one you're going to use when you set up your company on Companies House. We have 68100, buying and selling of own real estate. We've got 68209, other lettings and operating of own or leased real estate. We've got 68302, management of real estate, and we've got 68201, renting and operating of housing association real estate. Now, for pretty much most of you, you're going to use 68100 or 68209. You might end up having a couple of companies doing different things. So for example, we have a company which is purely for buying, holding and renting out properties, me and my business partner, Jay. If we're then buying and selling properties, we're going to set up another company for the purpose of buying and selling because there's different tax breaks. And ultimately, when we're wanting to do a rent-to-rent business, we're going to go with 68209. So what I'm going to talk you through now is something very important. This is a typical company setup. I want you to be set up legally. I want you to do it in the right way. So the first thing you're going to want to decide is your company name. And if you're doing rent to rent, I would highly recommend that you use the word relocations in your company name, because you're going to set yourself up as a relocations company where you house different types of workforces across the UK, and something like UK workforce relocations, for example. If you are setting up a company, I wouldn't set it up necessarily in your own personal name. So I wouldn't have Liam Ryan Developments, because that can prove difficult if I ever want to sell the company at some point in the future. So have a think about your company name. Then you're going to want to go onto Companies House and register with Companies House as a limited company. You can just Google company registration. You can do it directly on Companies House. You can use a company like Companies Made Simple. Costs about £20-30, really cheap to do. They'll do it all for you. Make sure you've got the right SIC code attached. Then go and get your bank account set up. You can't get a bank account until you've got your company paperwork. I use Barclays. I think Barclays are brilliant for property investors. Then you're going to want your insurances, indemnity and public liability, a data protection license, and also part of the Ombudsman. God, I said that right. Ombudsman. I never say that right. Certainly if you are going to be doing lettings and rent to rent, because you want to be regulated by the same governing body as the letting agents. There are cheaper versions of the Ombudsman. Don't use those. It's not a lot of money to register with these guys anyway, and you just need the lowest package possible. But when you then go into letting agents, you're going to look a lot more professional, and you can say, hey, look, we are the same. We are the same. Okay, good stuff. So, number 7, Association of Relocations Professionals, ARP. It's not compulsory, but again, it makes you look good, certainly if you're doing rent to rent. You're going to want to make sure you've got your website up and running. If you're doing rent to rent, you want to make sure you've got a good understanding of how you work with agents and how you work with corporate clients. I'll give you some examples through the training. And if you're setting yourself as a property investment company, then you want to make sure your website is very clear that you work with investors. You don't want the website to be overcomplicated, literally 4 or 5 pages. You want it to be as personal as possible, a few photos of yourself, and ultimately be very clear with your message. You can just go and research other competitors to get a bit of an idea. And of course, hey, look at the Assets for Life website. Don't look at the training part, look at the investment part, and you'll be able to model what I have done. Number 9, you're then going to want to make sure you've got your email set up. Go get your domain name, through the company setup, email account set up. And I would recommend that you've got 2. A liam.ryan @ and an info or admin @ Go and get yourself your business cards and your logo, and it's not compulsory, but it can give the feel that you're a much larger company. Go and grab yourself an 0800 number. Quite a lot of my graduates that are working full-time in their business or their job, they are getting a lot of inquiries from investors and landlords through their marketing. So they use an outsourced phone company that pick up the phone during the day. That's something else which you can explore. So they are the things that you need to now get into play so you can then go to that next level. I hope you found this session really useful. It doesn't take a lot to do this, but of course, start now. Think about, go and do the research, think about your website, think about your message, think about your USPs. If you're not 100% sure yet about what strategy you're doing, then hey, you might not be able to do some of this right now. So lots for you to be thinking about. I'll see you in the next lesson. I would just like to take this opportunity to personally thank you for tuning in and watching my videos. It really does mean a lot to me. I'm a man on a mission. I want to help as many people as I can become financially free through property, business, and wealth training. We are now the UK's leading property educational company. And if I can do it, you can do it. Grab your free resources below. And I look forward to hanging out with you in one of my next videos.